Alright, so I wanted to make an unscripted video talking about the top 5 things that I would want to see if they potentially revive Silent Hill. I wanted to get this done before Game Awards because once again, rumors are flaring up yet again about Silent Hill and people are possibly going to be readily disappointed. I know in my mind, with my expectations, with my pessimism, I'm going to be readily disappointed if they don't show the game again, and they haven't shown it all year. So everyone keeps saying Silent Hill is coming back, it's coming back. I know Konami said they want to bring it back eventually. Konami has been trash on this aspect for years. Like, I just gotta look at the realistic side of things. They have been trash with Metal Gear, they have been trash with Silent Hill. I just can't think of anything in recent memory that has been good outside of the Castlevania Netflix series. That's it. That's really it. And, you know, it's skepticism at this point. If you are hopeful and optimistic and you are expecting it, then fine. However, I'm just not feeling the idea for now. If they announce it, cool. We'll see how it develops. There's some things that we have to get through, and we have like directors leaving Sony Japan. Like, the Silent Hill director left to make his own studio, also with a Last Guardian producer, Kenjiro, I know I butchered that, Toyama. And he worked on Silent Hill, Siren, all that stuff, and he went to make his own studio. So I hope whatever Kojima's new horror game is, I hope whatever Bokeh Game Studio is working on, I hope they can add to the horror scene, and I hope that it is readily enjoyable, in my opinion. Now, this is unscripted, so once again, shooting off the hip, and here is the top 5 things needed to revive the series if they ever do. Number 1 is don't use a studio with no track record. So what I mean by this is very obvious, very basic. A studio that we don't know about, a studio that was formulated, you know, to work on this game and they have no experience. I don't think they will strike lightning in a bottle again like Team Silent. And many Silent Hill purists, they want to see Team Silent come back and work on a new Silent Hill, and I just don't think it's gonna happen with all the developers spread out, all the developers working on new game projects and new studios, especially like the thing with Toyama that I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago. I think they need talent for a new Silent Hill project. They need a AAA studio that knows the ropes, that has possibly delved in horror, psychological elements before, some studio that has some recognition so fans can have hope that this will be readily decent, right? I think that needs to get out of the way first. We had developers that worked on Silent Hill that were complete unknowns. Like, who the fuck is Valtra Games? Double Helix wasn't really well known at the time, and they worked on Silent Hill Homecoming, and then we have Valtra Games working on Silent Hill Downpour, and it was like, who are these people? What have they done? What have they contributed to the series? And the answer was pretty point and dry. I just think that a Western studio working on Silent Hill these days, unless they have some merit, unless they're good, it's just not going to work out. It's going to be met with skepticism if this is a developer that is newly formulated, or if it's a Western dev that hasn't had any experience on anything. That's what I think needs to change. Like, I guess if I thought of a Japanese developer, maybe, like I said, get Capcom to work on it. They are great with gameplay. Get someone else to work on this that is well known. I can't think of other studios at hand in terms of big names, but you know, if they wanted to give Kojima another shot, then try that. I mean, who knows? We just need someone who has talent that can be restrained, of course, because Kojima, he'll go out and make Death Stranding 2 if he's not restrained. We just need someone with a visionary prowess to work on this game. The second thing is don't shoehorn in Silent Hill 2's story to make a new one. What they like to do often is they like to incorporate elements and say, oh, someone's wife is dead and here's fucking Pyramid Head for the 800th time, and he's completely out of place. It's like, I know Silent Hill 2 was super popular. I know Silent Hill 2 sort of gravitated the series to a whole new level. You have to forget about it. You have to unlearn that particular plot point. It's okay if they want to tie elements to Silent Hill 2. They did this with Silent Hill 4, and I totally didn't mind that. That was great. That was fantastic. The backstory that you got there with Walter Sullivan becoming a full-blown killer. It was nice. It wasn't really too in the way of things, and they also answered some questions as well. You have Frank Sunderland. His son is missing, obviously James, and that was nice to see. I just don't think that they should repeat elements from that plot from Silent Hill 2 down to the wire and expect it to be received as anything but a copy and paste venture. The next thing is, if in doubt, remake or reboot. So this is easier to do. This is it's a very interesting idea, and it means, take something that is previously established and go from there. They could also try a reboot, which is a clean slate. You're starting over and you're trying to make something original, and I think originality for the next Silent Hill entry is going to be key, because it's a lot of stuff we already saw before, but what type of take can you make and make it something that is interesting, enjoyable, and fundamentally close to what the series was known for? And I think those elements combined can make a really good Silent Hill title that doesn't have to be something that is a case of sequelitis. They can work on this and they can say, here's our own original story, here's our own original characters, here's our own original plot, and we're going to put a twist to it here or there. And I think that's the best way to go. I don't mind if they also do a remake. I've been wanting a proper Silent Hill 1 remake for the longest time now, because Shattered Memories, oh man, that wasn't doing it for me. The fact that it was a run and hide simulator and you couldn't fight back, it wasn't doing it. I did like the idea of the ice and everything and the original concept of Silent Hill Shattered Memories, which was, I think, Silent Hill Cold something. I forget the name. I'm sorry, I apologize. People know what it is. If you go back in time, I will put a picture of that in the description. I'm sorry, I don't know the name on hand. Cold Ice, Cold Heart. I just freaking forget, right? This is live, off the cuff, you know how we do it. I don't have a script for this. You know how we do it. So like I said, remake or reboot. They could pick either or. Previously established foundation with a remake, just making everything better in terms of mechanics, and then reboot, doing something original and going from there. And I don't mind either, to be honest. Number 4, don't rip out every element that the series was known for. Now, when you make something new, if they did reboot it, when you make something new, it is expected, same with a remake as well, it is expected to fall in line with some core mechanics. In Silent Hill, you have fog, you have obscurity in the environment. It's like a small little open hub of walking around and fighting monsters and fighting creatures. You have the other world where the person's mind bends to reality. Everything turns grimy, rainy, it gets super dark, and the characters, they don't know what's going on, but their inner demons, their inner fears are being realized here and now, and it visualizes and represents itself, and that's something you should expect otherworld areas in Silent Hill. And then you have the monsters and symbolism. Symbolism has been key since Silent Hill 2, and that has not changed ever since. Even Silent Hill 1, I would say it started even with the first game. Symbolism has been a big deal. Stuff coming out of other people's minds and being interpreted, and their experience and their horrific trauma has not changed at all for Silent Hill. If you redo this stuff, you should do it in your own unique way, but do not rip it out of the game. Make it into your own interpretation and go from there. There is serious hallmarks to be explored and still appreciated to this day. Do not change too much. of what the series is known for, even if you're doing a new interpretation. And number five is make the modernization sensible. I think this is very important because, once again, I wouldn't say that old Silent Hill was completely perfect. Remember, there is things like clunky combat, there is things like clunky controls to take into advisement here, and with sensible modernization, they can take this and they can warp it, and they can make better controls, they can make better criteria for Silent Hill, better movement, better fog. There's just a lot of expansion that they can do in 2020 and take it into the future and make everything peak for Silent Hill. I don't want the combat to be too good, because that was the case in Silent Hill Homecoming, where you could straight up knife a boss to death and it's over completely. Just make the mechanics somehow balanced and fun to play, but at the same time challenging, rewarding. Hell, even take those ideas that you had with the puzzles, where you could do it on hard mode, extra riddle. It's like a separate difficulty list for action or puzzles. Keep that, and make it all modernized, make it feel well. Try new tricks that will keep the player on their toes for Silent Hill. And I think that sensible modernization, because once again, Resident Evil Remake 2, it did this. It kept the aesthetics of the older games and it adopted them and made them into something new, something more fun to play in terms of controls and graphics. And I think that's what we need for Silent Hill. We really do. That's what we wanted when we wanted to see Silent Hills come into fruition. It was updated controls, it was being in the Fox engine, and it was seeing how this city was interpreted under a new lens. And that's what we need when it comes to reviving Silent Hill, if they ever decide to do so. Once again, like I said, I'm very skeptical of it showing up at the Game Awards. I want to see who is commissioning this project before I even get remotely excited. And then there's just the part of me where I'm expecting to be disappointed. However, that being said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this off-the-cuff discussion about top 5 things that are needed to revive the Silent Hill series. In my opinion, once again, if you enjoyed this video, please slap a like, please comment, let me know in the comment section below how you feel, and if you agree with everything I said. If you disagree, comment, let's talk about it. And once again, I'll see you guys later. Are you expecting Silent Hill to show up at the Game Awards this year? I just don't know. I've been let down so many times as a fan of this series, as a fan of this franchise. I'm just not seeing it, man. Let me know how you feel about that too in the comments. And once again, thank you so much for watching the video. Take care, good night, and be safe from COVID. See you later.